And the first thing we want to really truly discuss is we want to discuss who are you in the relationship. Now, we have a variety of relationships in our life where spouses, where friends, where, sisters, brothers, sons, daughters, and mothers, fathers, and, various other relationships. But, we tend to stay away from the family component other than parenting. So really, we're going to focus on how to be who you are as a friend, who you are as a spouse, and who you are as a parent. Now, taking account of who you are. What are your pet peeves? What do you believe will ultimately annoy you? What allows you to pick the people that you have in your life? Now, obviously, when we're discussing parenting, you can't really decide who your child is, but you can decide the type of parent you want to be to your child. And that takes fully understanding who you are as a person. Now, what are your strengths? Do you have strong communication skills? Are you very strong in your faith? Do you have, a nurturing component when it comes to parenting? Are you a person that is open to listening to what your children are talking about? What's their interest, the things that they hold dear? What are your weaknesses? Are you short-tempered? Do you close up when when you're in an adverse situation? Are you, your parenting style are you a dictator? Do you believe, do you lead with your ego over logic? There's a variety of ways to understand and assess who we are. Now, who are you as a friend? Who are you as a spouse? Who are you? Who are you before you even enter a relationship? And that takes truly studying who you are and being self-aware. Now, me, myself, I know that I have a hard time being around people who don't honor their word. People who say they're going to do something and don't show up. Now, obviously, realistically, things happen. So I have to always understand that I have to be adaptable. Now, I know I'm not a big person on flexibility, meaning I'm not going to just move as other people move. I'm going to make assessments based on what I see. So I'm able to adapt. I'm able to adjust. And the importance of making adjustments versus being flexible means you come in with a set of beliefs. You come in with a great sense of self. You come in to understand who you are. But if now who you are is infringing on the group or the environment, you have to fully assess who you have to become in that environment without compromising who you are. So that's what adapting is. Being flexible is going into every room and changing based on the room, changing based on your company, you're forever changing, and you don't have a great sense of self. So I know that I have a problem with people not, honoring their word. So obviously I'm not going to join relationships with people who deem it's okay to, make mistakes. They justify a lot of their actions. They really don't come through. They really are, self-driven, self-motivated. They, it's nothing wrong with having ambition, but they're very self-ambitious. So everybody is a means to end. Everybody is, somebody that they utilize for the sake of, self-promotion. Obviously, I'm, more group oriented. I'm a person who believes that you need support. So when having that support, you got to make sure you surround yourself by people who bring out the best in you. And knowing that I am a person that really doesn't like people who don't honor their word, I'm not going to surround myself by people who are very self-driven, very self-absorbed, very self-motivated, as opposed to a person who believes in being interconnected, a person who believes in, supporting one another, a person that thinks of other people before acting, a person that, joins relationships to actually build the relationship, not to build self. And obviously any relationship you join, it should benefit you. But what I'm saying is they're not motivated by what they can just get. They're motivated by what they also can get. So that's one of my pet peeves. That's one of the things that I know going into a relationship, I can't be in a relationship with somebody who is not very consistent and honor their word. Another thing I know when entering a relationship, I know that, I'm a person that really likes to communicate and get on the same page. So I know that I can't be around people who are impatient. So you have to have the ability to sit down, discuss, put things in perspective. And before we move, we should be on the same page. Before we even leave the house, before we, go anywhere, we should always have a clear understanding of where each other stands. We should have a clear understanding of where we're going, the goal of, whatever goal we're trying to accomplish together. I know that I can't be with somebody who is impatient. Now, a weakness, I can be very disorganized and messy when it comes to things. When it comes to thought process, when it comes to concepts, I'm very organized. But when it comes to things, I can be messy. So that's a weakness. I know that entering a relationship, if I'm with somebody who is very organized when it comes to things, who, needs things in their place, I either could not enter that relationship, or I could, make the adjustment because I acknowledge it's a weakness. Knowing who you are doesn't mean that you don't make adjustments, doesn't mean you don't change your weaknesses. It just means that you have a clear understanding of your strengths, which you're not budging. So when you go into any relationship, like I said before, I don't like people who disappoint. I don't like people who who are impatient and aren't willing to actually be on the same page before, we move as a unit. So that's a strength. That's something that I'm not going to compromise for anybody. Now, a weakness is I'm messy. A weakness is, sometimes want to assist a person as opposed to allowing them to assist themselves and giving them the support necessary to assist themselves. Sometimes I want to, I equate caring about somebody with actually solving the problem for them, as opposed to working together to solve the problem together. So those are things that I could acknowledge, that I can take a step back and I could actually look at the overall relationship and how it's going to benefit the relationship if I let that person lead in that department. I need to let that person lead in the fact that they're more organized, they organize things. I can't look at them and say they're rigid, or can't put a negative connotation on the thing that they do best. I have to believe in their strength and I have to follow them where they're strong. So when they set up a system where, okay, you put your shoes here, you make sure you hang your coat here, you make sure that you wash your dish right after you finish with it. Any system that's put in place, I have to honor it and not look at them as the person who's dictating, as opposed to the person who is actually helping the relationship and promoting the relationship. So I have to acknowledge my strengths and I have to acknowledge my weaknesses. Know who you are. Know what you bring to the table. Know what you do that may actually hinder relationships, and understand that you're going to be making adjustments on a regular basis when it comes to your weaknesses. You're always going to follow where you are weak.